Hello everybody, it's Deanie Judd here and we are looking at sentence structure. We were looking at it yesterday and I'm going to keep looking at it.
We are looking at sentence structure. We were looking at it yesterday and
yeah, there we go. Good stuff. Yeah, we've been looking at it yesterday, but I thought today I would spend a bit more time. I said I was going to put a couple of sentences in the group underneath the video last night and I never got around to it, but actually instead I think what I'll do is I will just do one or two with you just to secure the ideas that, because it's complicated, or it can be, sentence structure can be kind of complicated. So without further ado, let me show you this question. Okay, so hopefully you can see this, and I might try and yeah. Okay, so this sentence here, let's put this light on that there. Yeah. Okay, never believe everything you hear on the news. Never assume that the report is true. Never accept it at face value. Never just listen without questioning. Bias in the media is and always has been a serious problem. The latest scare tactics about global warming is a typical example of dramatic exaggeration in the press. What features of sentence structure help you to understand the writer's viewpoint? So the first job is to underline the key words of the question, and that would be understand the writer's viewpoint. Okay. That's what you're being asked to do, not just talk about any words, but the words that show you that. Now, I'm going to try this. I'm going to see if this works. We've done this again, but it's the best way of doing it. Okay. Excellent, it's worked. Oh. Right, okay, so this is us in the exam, and we're going to draw, and I want to draw that, and I want to do that. Okay, so this is us in the exam, and this is the first job you do, okay? You forward slash after every sentence. So every full stop you see, put a forward slash. Why do we do that? So that we can work out the length of sentences. We can get an overview of what we're dealing with sentence structure wise. Okay, the first job is long or short sentences. Okay, so this bit here is made up of, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sentences. Okay, and they're quite short, aren't they? These ones are. And immediately we're seeing the repetition of the word never. So we circle never. And we start to look and see whereabouts is never coming. Yes, it's coming at the start of every sentence. Okay, now we can get going. Now we're motoring, aren't we? Never believe everything you hear on the news. Never assume that the report is true. Never accept it at face value. Never just listen without questioning. So what the writer is doing here is he is listing, and that's a list. Every sentence is a list of all the things that we shouldn't do when it comes to the media. We shouldn't believe everything. We shouldn't assume the report is true. We shouldn't accept it at face value. We should never just listen. Okay, now let's look at, is there anything after the never? So it's never believe, never assume, never just listen, never, sorry, my circling's not very good here, is it? Never accept. So what's going on here is it's a series, a list of commands of things that we shouldn't do when it comes to the media. We shouldn't make assumptions about what they're saying. We've got to question everything. Never believe, never assume, never accept, never just listen. And I would put, the writer uses repetition in a listing series of sentences, and he uses repetition, and I would put in inverted commas what he repeats. So it's never believe, never listen, never assume. And I'd put that into inverted commas and then go on and see what he's doing. So it's a listing function and it's commands. Why? Come back to the subject, because it's a list of commands of things that he wants us to do when it comes to the media. He wants us to question what we see and what we hear. Okay, can you see that? Now, so that's us getting the overview here. We've also got to circle the rest of the punctuation, because that's what we're going to talk about as well. Bias in the media is, we've got one dash. When we see one dash, we immediately look for the other one. Is it a pair of dashes or is it a single dash? Well, it's a pair of dashes here. What information is between the dashes and always has been? So bias in the read the sentence without the dashes. Bias in the media is a serious problem. Okay, bias in the media is and always has been a serious problem. Okay, the writer structures this sentence and puts and always has been. Write that down in your answer in inverted commas, in parenthesis or in between a pair of dashes, to separate this off. Now come back to the subject of the sentence and most importantly of what is in between the dashes. He tells us that this is not a new problem. This has existed for a long time. Try and put that into your own words. Okay, and then the third thing you would talk about is the use of the inverted commas. He puts scare tactics in inverted commas. Why? Now we know that the three occasions where we use inverted commas are for direct speech, for a quote, and for so-called. And so here it is so-called, isn't it? Is a typical example, because he says they're not scare tactics at all. They're dramatic exaggeration. So, but they're trying to be scared. They're trying to scare people. And that's maybe even what they would call it, the scare tactics. He says so-called scare tactics, and he puts that in inverted commas. Okay, so that is what the lines should look like on your answer paper, where you are told to, go to lines 6 to 10. You've got a line down the side, one line, showing you where your answers to come from, and you're circling and forward slashes, punctuation, repetition. Now, I didn't say, but the checklist for the listing function is there a climax or an anticlimax? And there isn't. Never just listen. Port is true. Never just listen without questioning. It's not particularly climactic. Not worthy of comment anyway. Okay. I'm very happy with this whiteboard, haven't I? So much fun. Right, let's do the other one. Okay. We will come back to the question paper. Okay. Sorry, can I just, I don't know if I said it enough, I'm tired tonight. What features of sentence structure help you to understand the writer's viewpoint? You've got to say what the writer's viewpoint is all the time. Come back to the writer thinks that the media is biased, that that they're not truthful, that they're not whatever, and he shows that by using a series of lists sentences of ways why we should question the authority of the media, etc. But make sure you say the subject. Okay. That's annoying, isn't it? Right. Okay, I can just do this one without putting it on my whiteboard. Firstly, we must recognise the widespread disinterest in saving the planet. Secondly, human beings are basically selfish. Thirdly, we do not wish to give up our home comforts in foreign excursions. Finally, and most importantly, distant and abstract scientific theories of melting polar ice caps are too remote to shake us from our apathy. What features of sentence structure help you to understand the writer's viewpoint? And you've got to say what the writer's viewpoint is and how he's used sentence structure to get these across. Okay, so the first thing that we would look at is the sentence length. Okay, so we would put / there, / there, and / there, and then after finally. And then we look, so are there long sentences? No, not particularly, nor are they particularly short. Okay, well, what's going on here? Is there repetition? No, there isn't repetition. There isn't listing. But what there is, well, there is listing. Look, there's listing using that. Firstly, secondly, thirdly. So the writer sets out his viewpoint in a list. He lists it numerically. It's a numerical list, isn't it? And why does he do that? He does that because he's giving us the idea that there are many reasons. He's giving us, setting out his reasons of why we are disinterested, why we are apathetic, and we're not roused to action when it comes to doing things to help save the planet. And he uses firstly, secondly, and thirdly to outline the many different ways that we do it. He does a numerical sentences begin with numbers, firstly, secondly, thirdly. That's the way he structures his argument. Okay. So then we're going to look at the punctuation, and we would circle the inverted commas and we would circle the brackets. Okay. And what are we going to say about them? Why is saving the planet in inverted commas? Well, because the rest of that passage, the rest of that paragraph is about how we do not do any such thing. Save the planet. We're not saving the planet. So it is so-called saving the planet. That's a laugh because we're not doing anything about saving the planet, but that is the kind of term that people would call it. But it's so-called saving the planet. And then he says, finally, and most importantly, well, he uses parenthesis, which is what the name that we give to brackets, a pair of dashes and a pair of commas, which separate off a phrase or some extra information. And here you come back and you talk about what the information is. He separates off, and most importantly, because that's his opinion. Okay? And he's drawing attention to that. This is the most important point here, but it's an aside, it's his opinion. Okay, and all of this going to show the writer's viewpoint that we are doing very little. Astonishingly, we are doing very little to save the planet. Okay, I'm going to crack on and do this one. Because of these problems, the outlook for the planet seems bleak. Changing climatic patterns, hurricanes and rising water levels are symptoms of the disease, but the surgery required to heal our planet may appear too painful to contemplate. Does the overblown reporting in the press spur us on to action? Does the threat of imminent disaster, so vividly portrayed in the tabloids, alarm us? Well, no, not really. But surely we can do something before it is too late. What we need is rational and informed debate. Well, we have / there. That's quite a long sentence there. / there. Really lists the different things are symptoms of the planet. And then big time here, he asks two rhetorical questions, doesn't he? Does the threat, does the overblown reporting? And actually, if we read it really closely and we're smart, we'll see that actually they're not rhetorical questions, because a rhetorical question has no answer. In fact, they are questions, because he gives us the answer, doesn't he? He says, well, no, not really. So there is an answer there. Why does he ask questions? Because he's building us up. That is a climax. we are expecting the answer to be yes. Does the overblown reporting in the press spur us on to action? Well, of course it does. Does the threat of, look at his word choice there, of imminent disaster, so vividly portrayed in the tabloids, alarm us? We're expecting yes, but no, we've got anticlimax. Well, no, not really. And the use of ellipsis there, suggesting a sense of drama, a sense of delay, a sense of disbelief here, because the context, and come back to the context, disbelief that even these things have not made us, have not spurred us onto action. But then he comes back and he asks another question, and this time it is a rhetorical question, but surely we can do something before it is too late. Now, he's appealing to the reader with this rhetorical question, and then he gives an answer, or he gives his answer. We need some debate. He needs that to spur us on to action after all these questions here. And that's the writer's viewpoint, that we need to sit down, we need to be informed about it, and we need to talk about it. Okay, I hope that's helped. Tomorrow we will do, we'll start to look at word choice tomorrow, and then we'll look at word choice and sentence structure together, and then we've got tone and imagery to do, and then we've got the last question to do, and then we will move on to critical essay. Okay, could you do me a favour? Could you share this with anybody who is sitting National 5 English in 3.5 weeks? If you found it helpful, share the love and let other people find it helpful too. And yeah, put any comments you have below. Let me know if it's helping you at all, if it's useful, anything at all. Some feedback would be great. I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.